From emails to spam calls, we all have to be extra vigilant these days to avoid getting scammed, and that is especially true for the elderly. So we are so happy to have this morning for the first time, but not the only time, on the show, Nancy Cogar. She is an elder law attorney. She calls herself the aging advocate, and for very good reason, advocate with capital letters. So
yes, thank you. It's important to me. Thank you. It's good to see you, and thank you for having me here.
I'm really thrilled to have you, and I think our audience is going to be as well, because you said off camera to me, you know, the main thing I want to do is let people know that I'm a person too.
Yes. So a lot of times you go to a lawyer and you leave and you think, I don't know what they said to me. So it is very important to me to make sure people understand the issues that they're dealing with and understand kind of the options that I offer to them.
I want to let people know too, before we continue into our conversation much this morning, education's a big part of what you do. So you have a weekly podcast, and you call it what, Boomer Time?
I do. It's called Boomer Time.
So
it's out for those baby boomers out there.
I'll sound cool for a minute. It drops on a Wednesday. But as we talk, if you ever want to tune into that podcast too, you can kind of learn more.
Yes. I mean, I talk about everything from do-it-yourself wills leading to disasters to why you need powers of attorney before you become incompetent. I mean, if it's an issue related to aging, then we're talking about it.
Okay, let's rip the Band-Aid off, because when you are an elder law attorney, these days, if it's Boomer Time, are you trying to kind of hit people 65 and up, even 55 and up?
Typically, my clients are 50 to 75, and then I get some older clients. But the ones that are coming for the first time and really talking about planning are usually, 50-something or 70-something. You might be surprised that even though people know a lot of times that they're supposed to do this, over 70% of people don't have any estate planning in place. And that is really dangerous, because it means if something happens to you and you don't expect it, you have no one in place to make decisions for you, whether it's healthcare, whether it's, your financial business, your personal affairs. Also, if you die, then you're leaving the state to govern how you want to dispose of your assets. So I never want that for anyone, but for some reason, it's very difficult for folks to take care of business when it comes to this, and I'm hoping to make it a little more comfortable for them.
Let's talk the lower end of that age range for a minute, and the 50 to 60-year-olds out there, because we don't really want to find ourselves in the elder category. No. But back to the scams for a minute. So much of that now is technology driven.
Absolutely.
And that's always changing so fast. I've got daughters who are 19 and 26, so they can kind of educate me a little bit, but I'm not going to keep up with the latest scam.
No, and you might be surprised about the types of scams that are out there. Of course, those keep changing, and I try to keep an update for those on my website. But typically they're calling on the phone. I know if I say anything to anyone out there about your car warranty wearing out, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Then they call and they say you've won the lottery. They say they're from the government and you need to pay by credit card. All of these things are just totally bogus, and just people need to know, do not offer your personal information over the phone. Do not download things on the internet, even if it's in your email. These folks are really skilled.
Okay, what do you mean, do not download things on the internet? What do you mean?
A lot of times people will get an email, and they're not as used to email as some of the younger folks. And there may be an attachment to that, and they download it. Well, you could be planting something on your computer, whereas someone else can gain access to your financial information, your online banking, all those things.
Right.
So even changing passwords more frequently, I know it's difficult to remember passwords. That's true of me too.
Yeah.
But keep a log.
Right.
And just these things make a big difference.
So, I mean, the truth is that anybody watching has been at least a target at some point. Not everybody's going to fall for it, but they're going to be a target. Tell the Secret Service story.
Oh, sure. And I just wanted to say, a lot of people are embarrassed by this, so they don't report it, but that's important. We're all in the same boat. So I don't usually recover when it comes to these issues, because it's so hard to track where it's coming from. But I did recover in one instance here in Chattanooga, involved a woman here, where she took money out of a local bank, a lot of money. She wrapped it up in a paper bag. She put a stamp on it. She put her return address on it and sent it out to this scammer. And when it got to this place in Philadelphia, the bag ripped. So lo and behold, they see all this cash. And so I get a call from the Secret Service, which I was a little bit skeptical about, right?
Yeah.
But it really was the Secret Service. And this lady recovered tens of thousands of dollars.
How did they trace it back to you to call you?
Well,
Is that
that's
a
a good
longer story
question.
than television
yeah,
allows? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My client, who was her son,
Okay.
notified me, hey, I got a call from the Secret Service.
I gotcha.
And he was suspicious too. So that's, I was already involved, and that's where I stepped in. But
Okay,
yeah.
one that is frequent, we have a couple of minutes left, but
Yeah.
one that is frequent that I know two people who have had this experience. Neither one, quote, fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
But the call that you'll get saying, hey, this is the police in
Oh, yeah.
Fort Lauderdale and your granddaughter's been arrested and you've got to bail her out
I
right
hate
now.
those guys.
It's a real thing?
Oh yeah, well it's a real scam.
Yeah.
Don't believe it. I mean, if your granddaughter is arrested in Florida, the police are not going to call asking for your credit card.
Do you still get a call in jail? Do you still get one free call?
Well, they may call you, your granddaughter may call you, yes. But
Oh, that's
I mean,
right, they fake
yeah,
it as if it's
yeah,
her.
Yeah. And to make it even worse, as you know, Julie, there's all this AI, so they can
Right.
make your voice, clone your voice. It's a real minefield these days. It really is.
You and I had talked a little bit before we got on air about the idea of coming on and like giving everybody 3 to 5 things to be mindful of and kind of making a formula of our conversation today. But I'm awfully glad that we didn't,
Yeah.
because I think it's nice for people just to hear who you are.
I appreciate
Because
that.
when they come into your office to talk, they might come in initially about wills, and the conversation leads someplace else. You do want it to be human.
Yeah, it's not a one and you're done. I have relationships with my clients, and I continue to let them know about news that is changing, laws that are changing, things I want them to be aware of, and like I said before, that's a lot of what we talk about on Boomer Time.
Well, I have a husband who's a boomer. I'm not a boomer, but I'll be checking it out. So it's called Boomer Time with Nancy Cogar. And then here's how you can get in touch with her for any of the needs that you might have. She's right here on Jordan Drive in Chattanooga. 892-2006 is the phone number. There she is online as well. And she'll love to share her story with you as she hears your story in the office. Thanks.
Yes. Thank you so much.